Are you ready to make some red rice and beans? I am, and these are not going to be dirty beans. They're going to be clean because I'm cutting the calories and doing them a bit more healthy. And I'm going to go through all of the things that you're going to need to cook them up yourself. So if you want to make more, you know, double everything, triple everything, and do what you got to do. But this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm using the measurements as far as the serving size. And I'm going to be using this brown rice. It's instant natural whole grain, great value brand. Pick it up at your local Walmart, or you could get any other brand, you know, at your local grocery store. And then also I'm going to be using these great value red beans, and I'm going to be doing a half a cup because that's a serving size. So after I dump this in the pan, I'm going to just scoop out a half a cup and go from there. Peppercorn Melody. This is just, you know, a mixture of peppercorns. You could use black pepper, and I'm going to be using that. And then also I'm going to be using a half a cube of this. All right, you're going to need some pan spray. You're going to need some tomatoes, some diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, whatever works best for you. And I'm going to be using the serving size, which is a half a cup. And then I'm going to be using some chicken bouillon. You could measure it out. You could use the powder kind, whatever. I just chopped up a cube just to measure out a tablespoon so you could see. I have a clove of garlic, and then I have a thick sliced piece of onion here because I'm only doing enough servings for one person and or two. So this is all you're going to need. And once again, if you want to make more, you know, for more people, for the family, just double everything, triple everything, and do you. Let's get some pan spray in the pan. And let's get to cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my onion in here. Just leave them like that. I'm going to put my rice. And put my garlic. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my beans in. And you're not going to mash them or anything like that. We're just putting them in whole. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more pan spray just on top so everything's covered. And I'm going to go ahead and stir it up a bit. Okay, so this is meant to be quick, easy. This is a great side dish. You could actually use this to fill a burrito, you know, or stick it in a rice bowl. You could do whatever you want with it. And it's just something really good to have as a side especially. So I'm going to go ahead and saute this. I'm going to let the rice brown a bit. And what I mean by that is like when you cook white rice and you brown it a bit, I'm actually doing that to the brown rice. And then this will give the onions some time to soften a bit. So everything's browning up and you don't want your rice to actually burn. So I think it's almost time to add my wet ingredients with the bouillon. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my half a cup of diced tomatoes. Then I'm going to follow the directions recommended for the rice on the back of the box. Equal parts water. And then I'm going to go ahead and toss in the bouillon. And give it a stir. Okay, so what I do is I bring the heat up and then I turn it on simmer and or the lowest heat as far as the option that you have on your stove or whatever range you're cooking on. And you're going to want to cook your rice according to the directions on the back of the box, but I let it go a little bit longer because I have the tomatoes in there. And you want to absorb all that moisture and just, you know, get it to where it's kind of nice and fluffy. So for me, it's going to be a little bit longer, but with the brown rice, with this particular rice, you don't have to worry about overcooking it. So I'm going to go ahead and let it simmer a little bit longer just until everything's absorbed and I could see that it's getting to the point to where you could turn it off and then let it set for 5 minutes. Okay, and working with the bouillon cube, the chicken bouillon, you want to actually taste for seasoning to see if you even need to add salt because most of the time you don't. So I already gave it a taste test. I do not need to add any salt whatsoever, but I am going to add a little bit of this cracked black pepper because I actually like the taste of the peppercorn melody. It just has a good flavor to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of this. And I'm going to actually turn the heat off because we're almost ready to let it set. When you're cooking red beans and rice, it's kind of all up to the individual and or people, whoever's cooking it, you know, if you want it on the little bit saucy side or the drier side. So, you know, you're going to cook it according to your liking when it comes to that. And yeah, so right now I feel it's time to actually turn it off now because it's been cooking probably for about maybe 10 to 12 minutes and everything's evaporating. And then I'm going to let it set in the pan, let it cool down to room temperature for about 5 more minutes, and you're ready to serve. I have the heat off. I'm going to let it set for about 5 minutes, and during this time, I'm going to take time to show you what I'm doing for dinner. And yeah, so this is about 2 cups of spinach, baby spinach. And then I just have some fresh salsa or pico de gallo. And I'm going to set this on top of the spinach. And then I'm going to put some fresh salsa over it. So this could be used for many things. It's actually a side dish. It goes great with barbecue chicken. And you could use it for a burrito filler. You could use it for rice bowls. You could do a lot of things with it. So it is really good. And it's just, you know, an option that you could try out. And I'm pretty sure you'll like it. Okay, so I'm giving it a stir right now. And this is the time that you want to actually make sure it's the texture that you want. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste. Oh my goodness. Ooh, perfect. All right, let's put some in my bowl. And yes, I love those onions. They are delicious. Ooh, get back in there. There you go. You got yourself a red beans and rice bowl.